Hi, everyone. Not going to be too long on here today. Oh, that's all I'm going to do. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, there is a lot of positive energy in the astrology. There is a strong yod that points to the sun at the same degree. I think where the eclipse went over, the American eclipse went over, so it's at 28 degrees here. So it's bringing up there's a lot of spirituality. That's what it is. So it's bringing in a lot of spirituality and the truth of your spirituality and staying in the truth of who you are. And along with dealing with the world, the muggle world that we live in and the intensity. Now, somebody asked me the other day, is it going to the feeling of the stressors or the feeling of the anxiety, is it going to get any easier? And I said, yes, it is. If you're standing in the truth of your spirituality, if you're standing in the truth of who you are spiritually, hello. If you're not standing in the truth of your spirituality, because that's where the astrology is, then things are just going to get tougher. And especially when we have Uranus is going to be going retrograde in a week or so. We have also in 2 weeks, we have Jupiter going retrograde. Of course, we have Mars and Mercury that's going retrograde. So the only one that's going forward is lovely, little old Mars just plugging along there. But here we are. We have all the tools that we need in order to create and build what we want to create and build. But we really have to come forth and let our spiritual self be received and try to think we have control. If we're trying to think that we have control over everything, that's where the critical mass is, right? That is where it is. Oh, thank you, Danielle. That's where the critical mass is. It is where there is things that are going to be exploding. And the things that are going to be exploding, yes, we're going to have craziness that are going to be happening with the markets. We're going to have nuttiness that's going to happen with the supply chain. We are going to have banks that are going to be collapsing, inflation, all of that. That's happening. Okay, we know that the intensity of that's going to be coming in even more. For me, it is to find another way to create and creating within my own truth. What is my truth of me spiritually, and not being afraid to stand in my spiritual truth and what I believe in and how I believe it and how I create that. I mean, you're going to have a lot of people say to you that, no, you can't do it that way. No, you can't. You're going to have a lot of people saying you can't do this, can't do that. And that can be feeling a stumbling block, or you're trying to create something and there's things that are happening that it's difficult to create it, or you have to go back to the drawing bird. You got to go back to the bird. You got to go back to the drawing board and you have to learn something, or there's a technique. But the thing that the energy there is saying, keep saying the canvas is there. But when we have Chiron coming in, Chiron can make you feel like a fucking loser. Chiron can make you feel like, oh my God, this is fucking hard. I can't do this. And especially with this, squaring over to Jupiter. I mean, we got this Venus squaring Jupiter is like, it feels like bad luck. It feels like things aren't going my way. It feels like there is craziness around every corner, right? Instead of saying, okay, let me step into my Venus, my Venetian energy, my Venus energy, and really get down deep on what it is that I want, my truth of what it is that I would like to expand. And, when we have, especially when we have Pluto sextiling over to Neptune and it's quincunxing, remember the quincunx is a picnic table with stuff on it, to the sun and Lilith. Lilith is there. So it's like, there's an explosion happening. This is a yod. This is a pointing, pointing us to a direction, pointing us into our self-care, pointing us to what is our truth, especially with the sun in Leo, right? The sun in Leo. What is our spiritual truth? What is our heart's desire? How are we creating? How are we walking along that path? This is bringing in, and, Mars coming in and with that Neptune can cause a lot of confusion if we're not standing in our truth of our spirituality, especially where he is at 28 degrees. And Pluto and Pluto and Neptune sextile, and then causing a quincunx, a finger of God, to the sun in Leo. This is extraordinary because one, we're not going to have this again. This is just out of this world. This is really looking into our foundational work. Pluto, Capricorn, foundational work. What is that foundational work? You still got to pay your bills. You still got to get up and go to work and do the things to create the abundance that you want to create the money that you need to create. That's Pluto and Capricorn. But how are you doing it? Neptune, how are you standing in your truth of who you are? He's in water, so he's disrupting a lot of water issues, whether it's water shortages or over water, whether it's inflation when it comes to the oil prices or anything along that line. This is where you're going to start seeing things even more in depth. He's going to hyperinflate things. He's going to create things. This is bringing into the awareness of who we are, again, spiritually. Are we standing and are we allowing God to lead in everything that we do, say, and be? That's a hard one. Because we question. You could be looking at your bank account and you have, like, I don't know, $2, 50 cents, $2,000. And for you, that could be like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I have this, and this to do. What can I do? And you're freaking out over it instead of saying, hey, I got $2 here. Thank you. It's $2. It's $2 that you didn't have before. It's like freaking out that, oh my God, I don't have money for the rent. I can't pay the rent. I love my place. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Instead of looking at, yeah, this is a beautiful place. It is. It's just a beautiful place. But it's not the be all end all. That's the thing. If you're making things to be the be all end all, especially with this energy, you're going to get fucked over. You're going to get bulldozed. And you're going to be wondering what the hell happened. And that Chiron's going to come in and say, oh, my heart, be still. We also have the energy of Eris coming in. Like, really, Eris, the goddess of destruction and chaos, having us look at what is the destruction and chaos that's happening, thank you, in your life that you need to start looking at. What is falling apart in your life? And be honest with yourself. And this is where your true spiritual self of what is activating. This is everything. This is where things could be feeling more confusing. Everything is off. Mars is the fastest, and we're really in a place, and it feels like it's hard to handle. Or are we to take action? What is that action that we need to take within our life in order for us to stand within our truth of our spiritual selves? That's a hard question sometimes. It is. When it feels like everything is against us, or we feel everything is against us, it's our perception of it. I know my anxiety's been through the roof. I got to really come into the calmness, come into the peace, maybe bring in some, music in the background, some high hertz, like 536 hertz in the background, allowing that to play as I'm doing something. That's going to bring in the calmness. Courage to be ourselves. Detach from the non-spiritual self. Courage to be yourself. Detach from the non-spiritual self. That's the message today. Detach. Detach from the non-spiritual self. What does that look like for you? What does that really, truly look like? And that's standing in that truth of who you are. And you know what? It's where you stand in your beliefs of the love of your divine, of your God, is where it's at. Let's pull some cards. There we go. Here we are. First card, nine of Gabriels, 9 of Wands. Stay determined. Go forward. This is where you got the tools. This is where you have the paints. Where's the canvas? Let's start painting. You have the tools to build the cabinet. pull out the tools that you need to build the cabinets and let's create it, right? So this is a determination. This is be prepared for any possibilities. Be prepared, right? And here comes the page of Gabriel. So the page of wands comes in and he says, follow your passion, follow what's true, because you got to stay determined in what you're doing. So you got to follow that. Opportunities there, the energy's there. You just have to stay in that truth of who you are, and that the opportunities are going to come in. Is it work? Yeah, there's a lot of work ahead for all of us in what we are wanting to do and what we are wanting to create. It's not going to be handed easily to us at all. It's not going to this is where you got to be really determined in who you are and step forward and trust in your divine. As in comes the Four of Pentacles. So the Four of Swords comes in and it feels like hell. So you got to go to the quiet. You got to go to that place that finds that reverence for you to connect with your truth. Find that peace, that place. And in finding that peace in that place, you're going to find that connection. And in comes the King of Waters. It's safe. Trust. It's safe. Trust in your abilities. Trust in what you can do. Trust in how you can create. In doing that, you're going to find that it's going to be a little bit easier as we go forward. We're heading into high retrograde energy. It's going to affect a lot of things in our life, and especially when it comes to our mundane world. So hang on, people. We have it. We can do this. We can persevere. We can create, and just trust in your divine, trust in your light. And let's continue the ride. Let's continue the ride. So may the Lord and the Lady watch over and bless each and every one of you in all you say and all you be and all you do. I said it was going to be a short one, and it is. I'm just under 13 minutes. So have a blessed one, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Blessed be. Have a great one. And if you are wanting to book a reading, definitely get a hold of me, forgivehermama@gmail.com.